One thing that maybe people should note is the history of the Salam family in collaboration with the Zionists. So it could maybe help people understand.
You see, it's very hard not to relate him to his grandfather, which is funny because people say, you shouldn't judge people, based on the history of their family. But I think something goes in the family, because his grandfather sold a third of Al-Hula Valley, which is just behind Al-Awidan, behind the Kfarkila. He sold, and behind the site of Miskafam. He sold a third of it, to the Zionist organizations and to the various merchants.
Hey everybody, this is Laith Marouf from Free Palestine TV, and we are in Nabatieh Fawqa, just outside Nabatieh city in South Lebanon. Before we continue with this report, I ask you to press the subscribe button on whatever social media platform you're watching this on, and to go to our website, freepalestine.video, to donate so we can continue bringing you these reports. We are here because there was attacks on Nabatieh Fawqa area again, once more by the Zionists just yesterday on the hills there, and we're going to be joined by our recurring guest, Ali Jezzini, alMayadeen military analyst. Ali, thank you very much for joining us once more, and we are going to start from the location we're at. Right behind us there is the Beaufort, and we can see even the borders of Palestine with the apartheid wall separating South Lebanon from Palestine right there, and the Ali alTahir hill, which had been attacked over the last 2 days, multiple bombardment. Tell us about Ali alTahir hill. Why is it being repeatedly attacked as has happened? I mean, me and Hadi came multiple times here over the last 6 months for these attacks. Why would they be attacking it one more time here?
First, thanks for hosting me again. I think there are some circumstantial, reasons why they do that. First, I think it's politics plays a major role in that, because Israelis a lot of times do actually time their attacks with different political events, such as the resistance re-announcing that they rebuilt their capabilities, they're working on that, and so on and so forth, or if any political statements with what they would consider as a high level, which the resistance officials make from time to time. During the last speech of Sheikh Naim Qasim, the Secretary General of Hezbollah, actually made some very interesting points. The point is that we can see from the videos and from what we can see in front of us that the Israelis continue to attack the same points of this hill, claiming that there are certain military positions over that hill, but I think these military positions would have been destroyed long time ago, because also during the war this hill has been attacked constantly and continuously, but they just keep bombarding the same areas and a lot of positions. Every 1-2 weeks we see also in Iqlim al-Tafah, which is more to the north of there, same positions being attacked, same spots, which indicate that sometimes it's just to keep the routine. You need you have a certain score that you need to achieve. They always do that as well, with the human toll. They're pressuring on the resistance, because from what we can see recently, they even killed a man, which has nothing to do with the resistance. Probably they just need to score every target, since they don't have an actual intelligence after probably the resistance started to adapt to the Israeli ways of action in the southern Lebanon, because also in other areas they actually killed people that has been alleged to be just with the popular mobilization forces and not active duty with the resistance. Despite all that, it's just always...
You were referring to the 60-year-old Lebanese businessman that lived in Africa for 40 years that was
Yes.
back to visit his family, and then he was killed.
His son was martyred also during the war. The thing is that even during his funeral, there was no party Hezbollah flags. There was no, like, the coffin wasn't wrapped even with the resistance flag, which indicates that he wasn't even in the ranks, not even in the mobilization forces.
But could we think about that assassination as part of the Zionist war on any competition in Africa against them? Because we know the Zionists control much of the mining and other businesses in Africa, and truly the only competition to them is Lebanese businessmen. Is this part of that?
That could be one of the reasons, because they also allege that some support for the resistance comes from such businessmen. A lot of businessmen have been targeted either through financial war or through sanctions on, maybe that's one of the last resorts that they are doing, like the physical elimination of the resistance backers or anybody that actually verbally would say anything regarding that. So there is no evidence that, as we told before, that he was part of the any military action, or even like people start normalizing the fact that you can kill people with just off duty, which is a war crime basically, which is even like a terrorist act always to actually kill off-duty soldiers. I compared it multiple times. It's like attacking and killing, you say, U.S. soldiers, which might have committed war crimes, or probably have in Iraq or so on. So that's how Westerners should look at it. But for the Israelis, there was a comment like the other day. I'm trying to remember who made it. I think it was Sayyid Marandi on Twitter. It was agreeing with the fact that even like with the fight against Russia, the Americans do, it's not a war of annihilation because they consider them peer to peer since they're both white. But against us, no, human beings, laws don't apply. You can be killed anywhere in your bed, in your home with your kids. They can pager you and your kids might get maimed, your wife might get maimed. So it's just there is no laws of war, basically, despite what they pretend to be the most moral army in the world.
So we can, number one, think about the attacks on alTahir Hill here as just continued terror of the people in the area, because it doesn't have any military value attacking the same place over and over, and a continued external pressure on the Lebanese political class as the Prime Minister tries to disarm Hezbollah. And that brings us to the speech of Sheikh Naim al-Qasim just last week, after the decision by the government to supposedly disarm Hezbollah. So how can we look at the speech of Sheikh Naim al-Qasim? What can we take as important notes there in this speech that differentiated from other speeches?
You see some of the actions and the decisions that the resistance had made after the ceasefire, like facilitating the work of the Lebanese state to apply and activate fully the Resolution 1701. That thing had changed, because evidence does show, this is not like my claims or anybody's claims, but they have facilitated every work of the army, every work on the government, and even some clauses that have been added later on that doesn't apply, like for example adding the area of where 1701 affects here in Yuhmur behind the Beaufort Castle. So it's like north of the Litani. The Litani is behind this hill, but it is affected by the Resolution 1701. That's one of the concessions. As we saw, like even in the region of southern Litani, the resistance have been facilitating, the work of the army, like what happened the other day, for instance, when an ordnance exploded, while army soldiers were trying to take it out of a hideout, a bunker, which indicates in the first that they were operating there with the acceptance of the resistance, and that the first who came, actually the photos and video evidence shows that the ambulance and the civil service, الهيئة الصحية الإسلامية, the Islamic Association, did came, which is close to the
After the
resistance.
army was worried and didn't go in to even be able to withdraw the bodies of the martyred soldiers.
Yeah.
And then it was the resistance's own civil defense, as you mentioned them, the Islamic civil defense are the ones that risked their life and went in.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So what we can see from Sheikh Naim Qasim's speech is that he set a red line here. Okay, we have been nice. We have been agreeing with you, giving you like cards that you can negotiate with the Americans and Western countries that are imposing this harsh pressure on Lebanon. But do not think that because we were compliant and trying to be cooperative, more than compliant, I would say, that we wouldn't draw a red line, because what has been offered and has been interpreted by the president and the prime minister has been seen as a betrayal by the resistance. It doesn't mean that they actually did trust them from the beginning, but they said, okay, there's nothing wrong with going with them, at least at this point. Because, say also there was a pledge that have been given verbally by the president, if you know, like to not touch on these weapons before there were liberation for the occupied lands here in Lebanon, or that, for instance, you know, the reconstruction effort is they're gonna take it seriously, like the prime minister and during their pledge, you know, and the president of the republic, but nothing of that happened. You see, Hezbollah at this point see it as a continuous you know, path of collaboration that led to nothing. Because what has happened, that even the 10 points that the president, you know, during one of his last speeches did point out, the Israeli withdrawal, reconstruction, and so on.
The order of how to get to disarming
the order
the
how to
resistance.
get the disarming of the resistance that should have been done like during a national talk hasn't been happened. We just went there. The issue here is like there's so much pressure that so many other pressing issues like the economic crisis, you know, the whole banking system collapsing, the energy sector, everything just put on the side, and it has been like a big media campaign to portray that the main issue here is just the resistance armaments that are actually the only thing preventing the Israelis from redoing what they've done. So it was, if you want to like say it in one word, this was just, okay, drawing the line here, this is our limit, you're not gonna get anything else from us before, you know, we even see results. It doesn't mean that we're gonna go to fully disarmament. Like also they're playing their media strategy. They said Sheikh Naim Qasim during his speech did actually indirectly agree, you know, on disarming if the Israelis withdraw. That's not true. That he was hinting at, okay, we can start a national dialogue, because the main goal here is to protect the people of the south, the people of Lebanon, from the dangers that are coming from the east and coming from the west. So without a national strategy of defense, and what does that mean? It means that Lebanese people should discuss what do we need, like to actually deter Israel from attacking, what weapons do we need, what kind of reformation of the army do we need, and how can we use this asset that's here, that's the resistance arms, in the defense of Lebanon. You know, and not actually destroying it like the army is doing now.
There's obviously a clear difference in what Sheikh Naim Qasim was hinting to, which is almost the popular mobilization unit model of absorbing the PMU into the Iraqi military, and that of a total surrender and disarmament and destruction of the weapons and disbandment of those people that have the knowledge of how to use those weapons. So, you know, there is a clash between these two visions right now. And I think during the speech of Sheikh Naim Al-Qasim, he said that if the other side that's working with the Americans and the Israelis puts Hezbollah in a corner, that Hezbollah is ready for a Karbala-like battle. What can our viewers who have no idea of this history of what Karbala means, what can they take from it? How can they understand it if they don't understand this history?
Karbala refers to the famous battle where the third Shia Imam that come in succession after Prophet Muhammad, after Imam Ali alayhi salam and Imam Hassan alayhi salam, went in to make right the wrongs of the Umayyad Caliphate that went against everything that Islam represents. He went against them in revolution, and they later on, he was promised support by his allies in Al-Kufa and Al-Iraq, that they then betrayed him. But instead of backing down and bowing to the tyrant, Yazid bin Muawiyah, he proceeded to go to send a message, that this is a message of sacrifice, that I'm going with my closest fellows, you know, and we all get martyred. And he did bring his family with them because he was promised like support from Al-Kufa. The battle ended up in Imam al-Hussein and all his fellows being martyred, but it did send a message that we are willing to go to the end if the humiliation is the alternative, which plays a major part now in the Shia ethos in general and Shia beliefs, that humiliation and accepting the wrong here is worse than death. What has been, people that don't actually understand the Shia ethos think that this is like a suicidal call, you know. But life for Shias represents something else. The concept of life and concept of dignity do go by together. So life without dignity is no life. So that was the point. And it's not suicidal, because what they are actually asking is suicidal, you know. That's not the opposite. So you're asking the resistance to deliver its arms without any guarantees, without any national defense security. And a lot of parties, on the other hand, are just, you know, hinting at like, we're going to send you to Iraq, like the whole New Middle East project. We're going to destroy your communities. You will be erased. We're going to call the, you know, Jabhat al-Nusra al-Julani here. That's not how you get people to comply, especially with the ongoing massacres. You're going to get people to be more stubborn. And even, I always say that, there was some voices after the war, you know, after the devastation, like maybe upper middle class people in the south, they say like, okay, maybe you should start making discussions and to make some concessions to actually be able to live. Now, after all the threats, all the sticks and no carrots, everybody is saying now, no, this is a threat to our community, like the complete disarmament without any guarantees, because you know what happened to the PLO when they disarmed them and sent them to Tunisia in 1982, what happened later?
To the women and children and elders that were left in Lebanon. Yeah.
They took the children with their, you know, with their legs and bashed their heads against the wall. It is a proven fact. I'm not making this up. Thousands were killed.
We saw what happened to the Alawis in the coast and the Shia in Halab and
they're asking
Homs.
people to bark and then they shoot them. That's
and the only ones that minorities that are still safe in Syria right now are the ones that had guns, the Druze in Sweden.
Yeah, they're sending a message that you should not disarm. You should not disarm if you wanna survive here, especially in this volatile and very fragile era of the history of our region. So. The point is, it's not, I think it wasn't more of a hint at like, okay, we're gonna mass suicide and like take you with us, but it was just upping the ante and setting a red line and saying that this is where we are willing to go, because what you are offering us is not the arms concession, you are offering us death. So as Imam Hussein has said during his battle before he's being martyred, if you offer me a choice between death and humiliation, come and take humiliation from my hand. To you at the end.
So, you know, what we can get from this speech of Sheikh Naim al-Qasim is that Hezbollah is willing to defend the honor of the population of Lebanon under tremendous imbalance of power, even if the current dictator of the world, the United States, and with it Israel and so on, come to fight them, and they will take this fight. At the same time, there was the visit of Ali Jezzini, the National Security Council member of Iran, and he met with the president, the prime minister, and the speaker of the house, as well as leadership of Hezbollah. What do we take from those meetings if we want to connect it to the speech of Naim al-Qasim?
There are no actually confirmed information to what has been discussed, but point is later on the Nawaf Salam, the prime minister, and then like the president of the republic went in on TV, the President of the Republic went on Al Arabiya, the Saudi regime TV.
Which popularly is known as the Ibriya, which means the Hebrew.
Yeah, the Hebrew. Yeah, exactly. It has been spewing the Israeli narrative during the war on Gaza and the genocide. Like it's the Israeli Channel 16, I think. So he thanked, Mohammed bin Salman 5 times, 4 times. He said like, for one time, for a second time, for a third time. Then they keep thinking, what did he do to Lebanon? He didn't even make any effort, like with the reconstruction, even like allowing the Saudi tourists to come here, or even investing. While he was offering investments, which nothing came to Syria yet. So point is,
or gas or oil.
Yeah, but he was like being extremely aggressive against Iran. Iran, okay, we can make relations, but you don't have to intervene, brother. Yeah, you just you took an Israeli, it is Israeli, a U.S. document, and then you said it is the U.S. document, and we approve U.S. document. And then they tried fixing it today, and then the narrative shifts, we did a mistake. It's the collective document. It's not a U.S. document, it's a collective, now it's a collective document. It's really funny how they can make mistakes sometimes that are really ballot, and they play a part in the resistance, showing it has been saying the truth since the beginning. So the point is, with Ali Larijani, I think he also would have mentioned the fact that, listen, while you think that you made the resistance in its community here, the Shias in Lebanon, has been made weaker by the last war, but don't think for an instance that they are alone. Also, it has been well received mostly by the Lebanese resistance community here, because the other party is waging a media campaign that departing mainly from the UAE, that has multiple facets and multiple dimensions, that is trying also to make the people here feel under tremendous pressure. This has been going on tandem with Israeli strikes that also might sometimes target nothing, but to keep them in the constant pressure. Then Barak comes today, then Ortagos comes with him, then like Yazid bin Farhan comes, then the other, like it's just a continuous pressure, you need a breather, you can't find a breather, you need to do it before the geopolitical situation shift again, because they see a window of opportunity. And what Ali Larijani did, Ali Larijani's visit was to say that they are not alone, we have red lines also, we are here, and you can't go to the end singling the Shia community out of Lebanon. This is an Iranian red line. I think that's what he said. And you see, there was a camera that took a video of Ali Jezzini when he was exiting the meeting with Nawaf Salam. He said like, sorry for the extreme honesty. So we can assume what he did tell him. He probably told him something harsh, which is really strange, because I find it difficult. I try to understand like the foes and the adversaries, but I find it difficult to understand Nawaf Salam. How he is pretending to be like this well-educated guy, Western guy, liberal, but is actually repeating a very, very dangerous sectarian, speech, when he did come to Nabatieh at once after the war. The people were actually blaming him and asking, what are you doing against the Israelis? He didn't even offer one condemnation to the
or condolences to the
condolences,
families,
or even like make a plea to the UN, because your country is being attacked. What are you doing? I just kept like sitting here, not doing nothing. So he is acting like Saudi Wahhabi, extremist in that regard, without the mustache and the fake suit. He's just offering nothing for the Shia community. He's just saying that this has been decided. We need to go there. The thing is, he doesn't have any popular support, especially in the Sunni community, because the Prime Minister in Lebanon should be Sunni, and the Saudis are actually also trying to prevent Saad al-Hariri and other. They have also a ban on the Islamic group Al-Jama'ah Al-Islamiyya, which actually is against removing the Lebanese resistance arms. They
had a demonstration in Tripoli last week,
yes.
Jama'ah Al-Islamiyya, specifically saying that they will stand with Hezbollah and they're against the weapons removal. One thing that maybe people should note is the history of the Salam family in collaboration with the Zionists, so it could maybe help people understand.
You see, it's very hard not to relate him to his grandfather, which is funny, because people say, you shouldn't judge people, based on the history of their family. But I think something goes in the family, because his grandfather sold a third of Al-Hula Valley, which is just behind Al-Awidan, behind the Kfarkila. He sold, and behind the site of Miskafam. He sold a third of it, to the Zionist organizations and to the various merchants. So he was he was one of the proponents of, this selling the land, and they were begging the French.
And
actually.
he wanted to go further and try to do that in South Lebanon, south of the Litani.
Yeah, because the French actually, in fear of English and Jewish, not because they like us, but in fear of encroachment and like influence in their area of operation in southern Lebanon, they prevented, the merchants such as his grandfather from selling land to the Jew settlers in the beginning. And they were lobbying. They were lobbying and trying to tell to the British to pressure the French to let them sell lands to the Jews. It's just unbelievable. A third. I forgot the number, how many thousands dunams, but I searched it. It is a third. I think it's maybe 55,000 dinam or something.
And they destroyed the whole nature of the Hula Valley. There was the Hula Lake and the Hula swamps around it that were all drained in order to sell it to the Zionists as fertile lands to grow in. One last thing, there was maybe, I think this is part of the attempt to raise the stakes on both sides. As we saw Barak and Ortegas arrive here, there was also a joint meeting between all the patriotic parties in Lebanon, the Syrian Social Nationalist Party, the Arab Nationalists, the revolutionary squads, with Hezbollah's representatives at the SSNP headquarters in Al-Rawshe. And they came out with statements that are also very, strong. So what do you see from this re-emerging coalition? In my opinion, I don't know how you would see it, I see it as almost a revival of the Jammul front from the 1980s.
It's actually the most logical thing to do as a Lebanese person at the moment, to stand with this. But the whole narrative is trying to sell something that's illogical, that wouldn't have been sold to any people in the whole world, to give up your arms and to trust totally the enemy just a few days after they started talking about Greater Israel. It just doesn't make any sense. If you say to a Spanish person, to a French person, to a Nigerian person, anybody, to a Chinese person, okay, you sit here, you have these conditions, what are we gonna do? So the Lebanese sectarian hate, especially coming from the Lebanese forces, the fascist forces, does make stuff that are completely illogical, doesn't make any sense with any human logic, as completely logical, because they just want to get rid of the Shia community. They don't consider us as part of Lebanon. You see it always in their deliberate speeches or undeliberate speeches, because one of their deputies the other day say why should we have negotiate over Kfarkila, which is a Lebanese village that has been raised during the 60-day ceasefire, more than the war itself. Why should negotiate over Kfarkila? There is no more Kfarkila. And he was grinning about it, Do you actually consider it as part of your society? Do you know how hate there would be created from such comments? So point is, I think we should wait. We should the resistance should start buying time, because the whole narrative is going down as long as we go. The longer we go, the narrative is breaking down. Even the Sunnis and a lot of the Christians don't agree that the resistance should deliver its arms. There is a poll that has been done by the Consultative Center for Research, which shows that most of the Lebanese people are actually against the resistance delivering its arms without a national defense strategy, which does make sense. But the thing with the, the UAE buying the whole elites of the Arab world and controlling the narrative, especially after normalization, it's just they're making the job of the Israeli media of spreading unevenly represented narrative that would make that most of the Lebanese people are against the resistance, most of the Lebanese people are with the normalization, despite the fact that also other polls show that the grand majority of Lebanese people are against normalization. But it's just part of the new era of warfare. You should keep repeating it until it seems that it's the only alternative. There is nothing that can be done.
You repeat a lie over and over and over until people believe that lie.
I'll give you a last example. It's that sometimes they just spread multiple news. The one that sticks, they stick to it. So they're saying that, okay, there will be war, there will be massacres, we will bring al-Julani from Syria, despite the fact that he can't even finish Suwaida and east of Syria. But at the same time, they try to spread that, listen, it's over. The resistance has already agreed to deliver its arms, but it's just playing you, you know. So I had like some people actually sending me stuff. They actually create AI videos of Nabih Berri, the Speaker of the Parliament, made up videos saying that, listen, I agreed with the President of the Republic that the resistance should deliver its arms. So it's multiple lies that are being spread at the same time, total psychological warfare. I think billions of dollars, I'm not exaggerating, are being spent on such campaigns because previously, between 2006 and 11, $600 million have been spent by the US on narratives. This number is...
just in Lebanon.
Just in Lebanon,
Yeah.
narrative against the resistance. So mostly barking, I would say, at the moment. But we should close our ears to it.
And keep our eyes open because obviously our enemy is a vicious, treacherous one, and all the collaborators with them are treacherous the same way. The next few weeks and months until the end of the summer are probably the most dangerous moments for possibility of return to war in Lebanon and or in Iran, because the Zionists don't like wars in the middle of winter. They don't have full surveillance with these clouds coverage and so forth.
If you're offering me death, whatever happens at this point, you know, like what's the alternative? That's the main idea, I think, with the people of the resistance. Like,
and definitely say, you know, Sheikh Naim al-Qasim mentioning Karbala shows that the resistance is willing to go all the way, and the arrival of Iran here with Larijani's visit is also showing that Iran is willing to support the resistance if a situation like this happens, and will not allow the Shia of Lebanon to be slaughtered like the minorities in Syria. Ali Jezzini, thank you very much for your time, and we will continue this discussion with you as the days go by. You're still watching Free Palestine TV, Laith Marouf with you, and behind the camera Hadi Hotait. We ask you one more time to press the subscribe button on whatever social media platform you're watching this on, and to go to our website freepalestine.video to donate, so we continue bringing you this content. And until we see you next time, we bid you all a free Palestine and a free Lebanon.